Hello and welcome back to another video. Today's Wednesday, so this is Waffle on a Wednesday, where I answer your questions to the best of my ability. And I'd like to start by saying thank you to everyone that took the time to ask questions in last week's video. Now, before I do answer some questions, I just want to say what a week it's been. We've had an amazing week. Me and Rebecca went to a firework display on Monday and we bumped into none other than Mark Cummings from the BBC, and he did an impromptu interview with us, and it was broadcasted the very next day on the radio. And if you haven't seen that video that Rebecca made about us being interviewed by Mark Cummings, then I'll put a link to that video up here. It's well worth a watch. Rebecca literally just decided to carry her camera with her that day, and yeah, who would have thought it would have ended up with us being on the BBC. So do check out this video. It's quite good, I've got to say. Rebecca did a really good job, so well worth a watch. Right, let's get on with this week's Waffle on a Wednesday. So let's start off with one of my favourite subjects, and that is cooking in the van. Because I recently used an air fryer to cook a Fray Bentos pie, and Richie Bainbridge asked the question is, nice experiment, how have you cooked your stash of pies in the past? Good question, Richie. Really simple. All I used to do is get the pie, open the tin, and then put it upside down in a frying pan with a lid and put the heat on as low as it could go, and just leave it there for half an hour, and they cook perfect. The only downside is the pastry doesn't puff up so much, because after all the weight of the pie is on the pastry and it stops it puffing, but they still taste great. And talking about the air fryer, I've since used it to cook some squid rings, and I've got to say it worked absolutely brilliant. That thing rocks, it really does, and it's completely changed my mind about not having an inverter in the camper van. Up until then I've been of the mind frame that I'm just going to stick with 12 volt. I've never had an inverter in any of my previous vans, but I'm seriously considering now of buying a bigger inverter for this camper van. But for now, I'm quite happy to use the Jackery 1000. That brings me on to another question, and this comes from Tim and Sam. Mel, how's it going? Very well, thank you. Quick question, have you played with any induction hobs along with the Jackery? Thanks, Tim. Tim, I've no experience with induction hobs whatsoever, but saying that, Rebecca is a massive fan, and after playing around with the air fryer, Rebecca asked me to get in touch with Leisurewise and ask them if they do an induction hob that is suitable to use inside a camper van, and it just so happens they do. So they're going to check their stocks, and if they've got one spare, they're going to send me one. I'm quite looking forward to playing around with that, because it is fully adjustable. Apparently you can adjust how much wattage it draws. So yeah, stick around, and hopefully when Leisurewise send me that induction hob, I'll make a video all about it. After all, that's what I do. Now this comes from Ronald Johnson. Great video, Mel. Thank you, Ronald. Enjoy watching your work. Need to replace my existing windows on my Sprinter for ones that open. Anyone know how to remove the glass? If you've got bonded glass on your van, Ronald, it's really simple to remove it, but you do need to be careful and you do need to take time. You just get one of those hobby knives, the ones with the big long flexible blades that have the bits that you can snap off, you know the ones I mean? They're quite flexible, and just go at that bonded seal, just keep going at it, work your way around, slashing at it don't put too much pressure on, because you will snap the blade, but just keep working your way around, slashing it, and eventually you can cut through that bonded seal and the glass will come free. I've done it many times. I've even gone into breakers yards and undone the bonded windscreens on some cars. Really simple to remove. It's not that difficult. You do need to be careful though. Now Paul Singleton asks a really good question concerning mental health. Excellent video game, Mel. Thank you, Paul. I do have a quick question regarding cabin sickness, as I was speaking to a full-timer recently, and they did say spending so much time in a small van can have its effects. Is this something you have any views upon? Many thanks, Paul. Yes, I do have a view on that, and my view is not to live inside your van, but to live outside your van. Spend as little time as possible cooped up in your van as you possibly can. Me personally, I spend a lot of time in my van making these videos, and then I have to sit here and edit the video, but as soon as that video is edited and uploaded, well, in fact before it's even finished uploading, I'm out of here. I get out of this van, as long as it's nice, it's a nice day. But on rainy days, when you've got no choice but to sit inside your van, what I tend to do is save up jobs for rainy days. A bit like, you know, some people say save money for a rainy day. I save up little jobs to do in my van on such days that it's raining. And quite often you'll notice that when I'm filming these waffles on a Wednesday, you can most likely hear the rain on the roof, because I pick a rainy day to actually make these videos. It just so happens today it's a little bit overcast, but it's quite nice outside, so I want to make this video as quick as I can, get it edited as quick as I can, uploaded, and then I'm out of here. I will go for a walk down to the town, or actually I've got some jobs to do out the back of the van. So yeah, I try and spend as little time in the van as I possibly can, and I save up jobs for a rainy day. Now Jim touches on a similar subject, and he says, in the winter, do you find it difficult with darker nights and having to spend more time in the van? Cheers, Jim. Well, Jim, like I just said, I don't spend that much time in my van. I spend as little time in my van as I possibly can, and to be honest with you, I actually rather enjoy the winter time, because I've got a log burner. I like nothing more than sitting here, lighting my fire and reading a good book. Yeah, I don't mind the winter at all. And that brings me on to another question about winter. And this question comes from Norman. Entertaining as always. Thank you, Norman. I do have a question though. What will you do during the winter? Will you head to a warmer part of the UK, if there is such a place, and wait out the winter? Or do you have a place to stay in? No, Norman, I stay in my van all winter long. In fact, I wouldn't say I prefer winter, but it's definitely more comfortable in the van in winter time than it is in summertime, because in the summer you do tend to get rather hot and it's very hard to stay cool. But in the winter time, because I've got my log burner, I've got my diesel heater, I've got my gas stove, it's very easy to stay nice and warm in the van during the winter. You can control the temperature better in the van in the winter than you can the summer. So no, winter time in the van is no problem at all, not for me anyway. And it actually brings us up along to another question, winter related, and that comes from Hiking and Biking Scotland. I love Scotland. Hey Mel, do you and Rebecca have any plans for a winter trip in the van or vans? Martin. Yes, Martin, we do. We were talking about going to Scotland for the autumn, because I absolutely love the autumn, all the different colours of the trees and everything. It's such a magical time of year, and I would love to get to Scotland before real winter does set in. After all, we are softy southerners. So we'll be scurrying back down to the south of England once winter really does set in. But yeah, I would love to get to Scotland before Christmas, if that's at all possible. Yeah, quite looking forward to that. Great question, thank you. Helen and Jeff on the road. Hi Mel, just wondering, I don't do a lot of wild camping, so would it still be worth getting a diesel heater in instead of just using my gas heater? Definitely. Diesel heaters are so cheap to buy, they're so easy to install, and they do dry the van out. If you're using a gas heater, you will create a lot of condensation, I'd imagine. So for the winter time, diesel heater is definitely 100% a win-win. You can't go wrong with them. So yeah, definitely get a diesel heater. Now this is a request rather than a question. It comes from Nico Loco. Hi Mel, my question to you is, would you please give me and my wife a mention on your Waffle Wednesday, just to tell my wife that I love her very much, as we have both been shielding since the start of the pandemic. She has a very suppressed immune system, so we spend a lot of our time in our T4 camper sitting on the driveway. Your videos have kept us going, thank you so much. Thank you, Nico Loco. I wish you and your wife all the best. Hang in there. I don't quite know what to say. That's beautiful, thank you. Silver Top Modes Homers asked, great content, just love the questions and your answers. My question for next week is, have you ever had or considered having a dog to keep you company in your van on your travels? All the best, mate, from Dave, Mel and our Sally the Labrador, who loves motorhoming and travelling. Yes, I would consider getting a dog, and it just so happens when I was growing up, our family pet was a Labrador. I absolutely love that dog. It absolutely broke my heart when it died. But yeah, I do plan on getting another dog, but I'm going to wait until I'm actually retired before I get a dog. And me and that dog will grow old together. So yeah, I hope that answers that question. Yes, I would definitely get another dog, but not just now. Now this question comes from Papo1. Hi Mel, have you ever thought of opening a shop to make camper vans? Yes, I have given it some consideration. I'm not going to rule it out completely. I used to have a workshop where I would convert cars into kit cars, and I've built camper vans in there, restored camper vans in there, done all sorts of malarkey, messing around in the motor trade. So yeah, I wouldn't rule it out completely, but for now I'm rather enjoying the freedom of having no ties to any one particular place. So yeah, maybe, but not just now. Now Craig Devlin asks a really good question. Craig Devlin, that name rings a bell. Are you the Craig Devlin that I used to know? Let me know, leave a comment down below. Anyway, Craig asks, hi Mel, love the videos. Have you ever considered a second channel to make metal detecting videos? Really good question, and it just so happens I have been giving that some thought, because metal detecting is something I really do enjoy when I'm out of the van. It's something I like to do when I'm out of the van, like I said earlier. So I've got a question for you guys. What do you think? Do you think I should start a second channel all about metal detecting, or should I just throw the odd metal detecting video in on this channel? Be really interested to know what you think, so do please leave a comment below in the comments section of this video if you think I should start another channel all about metal detecting. Be interested to know what you think. Thank you Craig for the great question. And on that note, I'd like to say I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to leave your comments below in the comment section of this video, especially if you've got a question for me for next week. Thanks for watching. Ta-da for now.